Welcome back to the Movie Draft House. I'm your host, Mark, joined by co-host Jeff.
What up, Mark? How we doing today?
It's always a good day here in the House of Draft. How you doing?
Pretty good, man. Pretty good. Just a rainy day here in our neck of the woods. Is it raining over there?
It is raining here as well. First real big rain in a while. First thunderstormy rain.
Winter is over.
Yeah, the days of 85 degrees every day are here. They're among us. I'm not thrilled about that. But what I am thrilled about is you telling everybody what the theme is this year and running it down for us.
Shit. All right. So this was my idea. So my bad. So this year we're doing 1 degree of separation. Each movie has, from week to week, shares an actor, a director, a writer, something that ties the movies together. So to give you an example, we finished the year off watching A Simple Favor, which starred Anna Kendrick, who was in Life After Beth, which starred fucking Paul Reiser, who was in Whiplash, which starred Miles Teller, who was in Top Gun Maverick, which was written by Peter Craig, who also wrote Gladiator II, which starred Pedro Pascal, who was the penis collector in Drive-Away Dolls, which starred Margaret Qualley, who was in The Substance, which starred Demi Moore, who was in Indecent Proposal, which starred Billy Bob Thornton, who was in Armageddon, which starred Peter Stormare and Steve Buscemi, who were in Fargo, which starred Frances McDormand, who was in 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri, which starred who was in that movie?
Oh God.
Sam
you got
Rockwell.
So close. Yes.
It starred Sam Rockwell, who was in some shit we didn't like, 7 Psychopaths, which starred Collin Farrell, who was in this week's film, Saving Mr. Banks from 2013, starring not Dan Aykroyd, good Lord, Tom Hanks, Emma Thompson, Colin Farrell, and Paul Giamatti.
I probably know what movie you're going to pick now that you... I don't think Dan Aykroyd was some slip of...
I don't think so. What movie do you think it is?
Oh, I don't know, but there's got to be a Tom Hanks and Dan Aykroyd movie out there somewhere.
Well, how many of them could there be?
I don't know, actually.
Okay. All right.
But I'm interested to see if that's accurate.
We'll find out.
Yeah. So I chose Saving Mr. Banks. I had never seen it all the way through. I saw like maybe the first 15, 20 minutes, I think back when it came out. And I don't really remember why I didn't finish watching it. But directed by John Lee Hancock, who has done several other movies that have done well. Most notably, probably, The Blind Side. He directed that one.
Mm-hmm.
He's got some other ones like The Founder, which stars Michael Keaton as the guy who started McDonald's. Yeah. And that's a pretty good movie.
I think he franchised McDonald's. McDonald's already existed, right? Wasn't that the deal?
Oh, I don't know. I haven't seen the movie.
But I thought...
No, I did. I haven't seen the movie.
Oh, okay.
I just know what the movie's about, I guess. Well, maybe I don't, actually.
Yeah.
I don't know. But then he also directed a movie called The Highwaymen, which stars Woody Harrelson and...
Dan Aykroyd.
No. Who's Western guy? Waterworld.
Oh, Kevin Costner.
Kevin Costner, yeah, and that's actually a pretty good movie. I've seen that one. Anyways, so Michael Lee Hancock here, or John Lee Hancock. God. So he's kind of he's done a little bit of everything. Biopics, Western type. So watching this movie and having seen some of his other films, was interesting is because I really liked this movie. I really liked the just the kind of the feel good esque, and I guess that's kind of like what John Lee Hancock does with his films is he tells stories that are, like this movie's about P.L. Travers, the lady who wrote the book Mary Poppins,
right?
And Mr. Banks, and the titular character of Mr. Banks is her father.
It's
based either on is or isn't.
His name isn't Banks though.
Well, that's the character in Mary Poppins,
Travers Goff,
right?
But Mr. Banks is a character from Mary
Poppins.
Yeah,
right. But the character of Mr. Banks is based off of her father.
Yes,
and so I just really like the way that this movie. One, I love Emma Thompson, and she's very surly throughout this movie. She's such a great actress.
She's one of the best.
Yeah, and because like she makes you hate her throughout this most of this movie, and then at the end, she just kind of like lets everything down, and you really end up like by the end of the movie, you're like, wow, this woman had a terrible upbringing, and like you begin to understand why she is the way she is. And I really love Tom Hanks as Walt Disney. He's kind of spot on in the looks department here with Walt Disney.
They gave him a mustache.
Yeah. Wait, Walt Disney never had a mustache?
No, he did. They gave Tom Hanks a mustache.
Gotcha.
And then Mr. Banks had a mustache as well. It's a theme throughout the film. I don't know what it means. But
yeah,
it's
right.
There.
It's like and that was a big deal at one point in the movie for Emma Thompson, her character. She's like, "Why does he have a mustache?" And then Walt Disney was like, "I just want him to have a mustache."
Yeah.
So it's kind of a weird thing to have reoccurring in the film, but I don't know, Jeff. What did you think?
I like most of this movie. I really like all the stuff with Disney and Emma Thompson and all the writing stuff in the room with B.J. Novak, Bradley Whitford, and Jason Schwartzman. I really enjoyed all of that. What I did not enjoy was the flashbacks. I found myself wishing we weren't watching the flashbacks. It's another movie where I didn't particularly like Collin Farrell much in this, and I just, and maybe it's because the character is, I don't know, like there was something about the family dynamic that was shown on screen that just didn't click for me in those flashback segments. I get that it was important to the story because the whole point is her sort of reconciling her past with the work she's made and letting go, being not just letting go of her intellectual property, but also any ill will towards her father. So I get all of that, but it just didn't gel with me. There was no charm to it. It was not enjoyable, that part, for me. But then they'd cut back to the stuff of her writing it, and I really enjoyed her relationship with Paul Giamatti in the movie. I thought that was really good. Mm-hmm. So to me, I understand why they have the old-timey stuff with Collin Farrell, but I feel like it took away from what I was enjoying about the movie.
I can understand where you're coming from there. I like that it was intermixed. These scenes with young P.L. Travers and her father, Collin Farrell, in Australia. And I like the dynamic of Collin Farrell wanting to be a good dad, and and loving his daughter the best he could. I mean, he's an alcoholic.
Yeah.
And, he's struggling with, work and being a dad and being an alcoholic. So he's got all this stuff that he's the film shows that he's trying to fight through. And, but at the crux of everything is his relationship with his daughter. And to me, it was those scenes of him being kind of a whimsical dad, and trying to kind of hold this facade of who he is for her, or who he wants to be for her, and then actually being this tormented character who does not have it together and is not doing well. And and then finally the daughter, recognizing that towards the end when Collin Farrell is essentially on his deathbed, and and then how that relates and translates to who Emma Thompson's character is in the present day where the movie is set. And how she treats others, and I really thought that Tom Hanks, the Walt Disney character, was meant to mirror the whimsicalness of Collin Farrell's character, and that could just be me, and it could be me, looking at it too deeply, I guess. But it seemed like, in all of Emma Thompson's interactions with Tom Hanks' character, Tom Hanks was never upset. Tom Hanks was never brash. He was never. He was always this kind of upbeat guy, and he never let Emma Thompson's demeanor or personality or attitude towards everything really get in the way. And then maybe one of the best scenes in the film is when Tom Hanks is sitting, or I don't know if he was sitting at the piano, but he was at the piano with Jason Schwartzman late at night, and they're talking about, hey, is Travers going to go for this? And they say, no, probably not. And then Disney tells them the story about somebody coming to buy the mouse, and how there's no price that could be met for, selling Mickey Mouse the character. And I really thought that was a really good scene, is because it gets so much exposition out the way by having you relate to P.L. Travers, and why she may not want to give away the rights to this Mary Poppins character. And so I just thought, like, a lot of what, and I don't know if there's another actor that probably could have done Walt Disney the way Tom Hanks portrayed him. And I really want a movie of just Tom Hanks as Walt Disney. I want the Walt Disney biopic.
I thought that going in, I didn't know what this is about. I thought that's what we were getting, and so I was kind of reluctant to watch it, honestly, because I don't really like biopics. And this is sort of a biopic, but he's not the main character. The main character is Emma Thompson. He's very much a supporting character here, but I think it's his character that drives the film, is because, and you can even make the case for Paul Giamatti being one of the stronger characters here too. Oh, I loved him. But
he grounds everything
anyway.
Yeah. No, I mean, Paul Giamatti's great, but his character grounds everything because he's a sounding board. He's not afraid to tell P.L. Travers, what it is, and I just thought their dynamic was very good for the movie, is because he's one person that was not afraid to either disappoint her or to say the wrong thing to her. It's because at the end of the day, he's just driving a car, and he has nothing to do with if a movie works or if a character where so I thought both Tom Hanks and Paul Giamatti's characters were two of the more intricate characters, even though they're very much supporting characters in the film. But I liked the flashback is because I like Collin Farrell as this like kind of tormented character. He's a really talented actor, and I think that showcased a little bit of the good acting that he can have. I mean, I've seen a ton of Collin Farrell movies, and they're not all as good as they should be, probably.
Just listen to last week's episode. Did not like Seven Psychopaths. Right. I feel like he's an actor that has range. I mean, if you've seen the HBO show Penguin, you for sure can see that. Yeah, and I like Collin Farrell. I said that before, but I just didn't like the character in this movie, I guess, and it just didn't gel for me. Like the whole old-timey sequence, I just felt like, because it was so tonally different than the rest of the movie, that I don't know. I kind of kept wanting to just get back to the writer's room because that was the best stuff.
Yeah. And the music. So one thing about the music in this film is that, and I thought that this film did much better at the Academy Awards than it did. It only got nominated for one Academy Award, and that was for Best Music.
And all the music's from fucking a movie that's, old.
Well, right, but it's all kind of reimagined. It's like much like Jason Schwartzman's a very very talented, musically gifted actor, and he showcases that here. He's the one playing the piano at the piano. He's singing. B.J. Novak, highly talented writer, and like a lot of what's represented here in the music is, like you said, stuff that has already been written, but it was reimagined for this film. And I thought one of the better scenes in the movie is when Emma Thompson or P.L. Travers, hears the "Let's Go Fly the Kite"
that is,
song.
To me, the best scene in the movie.
Yeah. And she completely, like, it's almost night and day. Oh, I mean, it is night and day. How she can just turn, like, from this surly character to this character that is exhibiting this whimsical attitude when she hears this song that's supposed to be about her dad, or being sung by the person based off her father. And so, and it's from that point on in the film where the wall starts coming down, and the momentum for making the film is done. And I'll tell you what, at the end of the movie, where she's sitting in the theater watching the film and she's crying, like, that was emotional for me. Is because, like, and I'm getting more emotional in my.
It happens when you get older.
Yeah, it is. But like, what was the 2 movies ago? What did we watch?
Ebbing Billboards.
Yes, yeah, right. And so, like, I found myself getting emotional during Woody Harrelson's narration of his own suicide, and like, I found myself, like, tears welling up my eyes watching this lady see her story represented on screen, and Tom Hanks's character realizing that she's getting emotional and rubbing her on the shoulder from the row behind her. Like, that's good storytelling. And I was like, damn, fuck, this is like, why am I getting emotional over this? But it's just, it was good is because we spent, and this movie was an hour 50.
2.5, 2 hours, 5 minutes.
Right. So we spent a good chunk of this film with this character of P.L. Travers and being angry at her for being an asshole to everybody, right? And then seeing her, finally let everything down, like let it all out, and having this emotion for what was made, and it's a culmination, I guess, maybe, of everything that Walt Disney told her in the film. He told her, "I will not let you down. This will be one of the greatest things I ever do." And at the end of the movie, it was. And I just thought, like, I don't know enough about Walt Disney to know if he was this type of person, right?
There's some questionable things in his background, but
sure, but like,
I do believe he probably insisted on being called Walt. I think that
what was
sounds
his actual
about
name?
Right. Huh?
What was his actual name?
Walt Disney, but I mean, if people called him Mr. Disney, he would say, it's Walt.
Oh,
you know?
yeah,
I believe that. Like, I think he probably wanted to have this sort of atmosphere in his place of business, you know?
I got to believe that there's some truth in this film to the person that Walt Disney was. And yeah, I mean, he might have some questionable things that happened over the span of his lifetime, but I got to believe that there were enough people that told their stories to this guy, John Lee Hancock, that knew Walt Disney or worked for Walt Disney, had some dealings with Walt Disney that said, this is the type of guy that you need to portray in your film. And having Tom Hanks play that character kind of alludes to that. It's because we think of Tom Hanks, we think the ultimate good guy. And I think that's really great casting on the film's part, is because I don't know if anybody else.
Hanks.
Everybody likes Tom Hanks, right? Absolutely.
Yeah.
And so I think a lot of this is meant for. This film was made to garner awards, right? And it's weird. It's weird that it didn't do well in that aspect. It's because you can tell that this movie was made to showcase acting, showcase storytelling, showcase music, and tell a story about a person and people that people know, Walt Disney and Mary Poppins and all this. And so it's a little weird to me that it didn't do well in that aspect, but yeah.
Yeah. How do you feel about Mary Poppins, the film?
It's been a while since I've seen it all the way through. But I mean, I remember liking it. I remember it being, or learning that it was a breakthrough film that, you know, it was the first film of its kind to incorporate animation and live action. And I tell you what, this film made me want to go back and watch Mary Poppins, the original Mary Poppins.
It's incredible. It's
right. No, but that's everything
really
I remember.
Yeah.
Right. And so, yeah, I mean, and I think it's a smart move behind the story, the filmmaking here, to only showcase a little bit of that movie at the end, right? Like, we never saw any of the original actors or characters that were in that original film until the end of the movie, where they're watching it in the theater. And then it kind of pays homage to the film by kind of the what do you call it? Damn it, I just had the word. I don't know, but I mean, like, it shows different scenes throughout the movie.
Yeah.
And montage. That's it. Damn it. But no, I do. I do want to go back and watch it. It's hopefully it's on Disney Plus.
You would think.
You would think, right? This movie was on Disney Plus, so hopefully.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll make time. I'll make time to go watch it again. I really remember liking the film, so I want to go back and watch it.
So one of the movies on my short list to pick for next was an Emma Thompson film where she plays a Mary Poppins type. Have you ever seen Nanny McPhee?
Nanny McPhee, yeah.
Yeah. Very
yeah.
good as well. But that's not what I'm going with, because
no,
Dan Aykroyd's not in it.
All right, so anyways, do you recommend this one?
No, it's good, but it didn't click for me the way it clicked for you, I think. And that's okay.
Yeah. that is okay. No, I will recommend this one. I really enjoyed it. It's one of those films that like just kind of just makes you feel good, throughout. And
I don't know.
I think everybody should probably watch it.
Problem because she's such a raging bitch throughout the most of it. Like you're like, I don't know how good I feel.
Well, but I think, yes, even though she is a raging bitch throughout, I think she's surrounded by good characters.
For sure. And they're just having to stomach it. But
right.
Did you, I always ask this question, and oftentimes you say no. Did you stick around for the post-credits scene?
Oh, shit, did I?
It isn't, I wouldn't necessarily call it a scene, but what they do is they play the actual tapes that...
No, did I?
It's...
No, I don't remember that.
Yeah, so you get the stylized credits, and then afterwards,
Yeah.
before the sort of standard credits, they play recordings that they did of the actual people in the room and her being just that nitpicky and petty and stuff over the creation of the work. So it's just an interesting thing to go and check out.
Interesting. I don't know why I don't stick around for
I
credits.
don't either.
I don't know.
You don't need to watch the whole thing, but and I've said it before, when the credits are stylized, you probably should chill until they become normal credits. And then at that point, you're usually safe.
For sure. But yeah, I'll recommend it. I really enjoyed it. So we'll see where it ends up on my end of the year list.
Yeah, your end of the year. Your top 5 is getting bloated now.
My top 5 is like a top 15.
Yeah.
All right. What are we watching next week?
We have a good movie in your bottom 5 just because you have.
We've watched so many.
Yeah.
Yeah. If the rest of the year is anywhere like the year so far, that's a very real possibility.
Yeah. So let's give you a movie that might be in your bottom.
Okay.
And by that I mean up your butt. Not really. So I'm going to pick a movie starring Tom Hanks.
Yeah.
And it's 1987.
Okay, God.
Yep. And it stars Tom Hanks and Dan Aykroyd. And the Tom Mankiewicz directed film.
Oh, we're watching Dragnet.
Have you ever seen Dragnet?
No, but didn't we talk about it?
Probably. I love Dragnet.
Didn't we talk about it a couple months ago? Because one of the films we watched had something to do with Dragnet.
I don't remember that, but you might be right. It's recorded, Someone go back and find it. So the problem here is you're going to have a tougher time, I think, finding the next film because the cast is not that stacked. So,
we're going to watch a Christopher Plummer film for our next one.
That's a good choice. Let's see,
what does his filmography look like?
The Insider, that's a good movie. Knives Out, that's a good movie. Yeah, there's plenty to work with here. I mean, Dan Aykroyd, we could do Ghostbusters.
We could.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Give me
we'll see.
something to chew on a bit.
We'll
so, yeah, Dragnet. Looking forward to it. I love this. I haven't seen it in a while, though, so maybe I won't love it. But I probably will still.
Tom Mankiewicz is dead.
Oh, no.
Yeah. R.I.P. Tom.
Yeah, that sucks. Sorry, buddy. Had I known that, I wouldn't have picked your film.
He directed
credits.
He directed a Tales from the Crypts episode.
Yeah. A lot of TV movies, and then he did the John Candy film Delirious. So
never seen it.
Love to Death, season 3, episode 1. I'm gonna have to watch that. I love Tales from the Crypt.
Yeah, that's well established here on the podcast.
Yep.
Hit the back catalog for like 2 or 3 of the films.
2 of them. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
You gotta watch Demon Knight and Bordello of Blood, despite Mark putting it on his bottom 5 last year. This is bullshit.
You know what else is bullshit? You not hitting the subscribe button if you're watching on YouTube.
Damn. Hell of a transition.
Hit the subscribe button so you don't miss any future content right here on the channel. And if you want to follow the podcast on all your social media platforms, we're at Movie Draft House. You can find us on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, right here on YouTube. So give us a like, follow, and subscribe. Jeff, tell them where they can find you.
You can check out my other podcast called Chronologically, wherever you get your podcasts. We're working our way through the filmography of Quentin Tarantino, and also my other podcast, All Things Being Sequel, where we're taking a look at the films from the Leprechaun franchise.
Ooh.
Although we finished that and are already recording our next season, so, you know.
Is what's his face, the little person guy? What's his name from the original?
Warwick Davis?
Yeah, Warwick Davis. Is he the leprechaun throughout all of the films?
No.
Okay.
He goes up until Back to the Hood, which is the second Hood film, and arguably one of the best. Really, spoilers, but it's a good one. And then they have this like weird remake that's awful, and and then they remake it. They do like a legacy sequel to the original. They have to recast Warwick, but it's pretty good. So I mean, there's good stuff in there. It's worth a watch, I think, if you're a knucklehead like me. So,
all right. Well, Jeff, any last words?
Nope, none whatsoever.